Hello everyone, I am Sai Faninder Reddy, J aka jspreddy, bringing you a tutorial on how to do the NFS Most Wanted blacklist intro effects of the moving buildings. So let's get started. First of all, let me show you the effect that we're gonna try and replicate in this tutorial. There we go. Wasn't that good? So let's move on to the tutorial. Yeah, we'll be using this pic that I shot on my terrace uh, with my camera, obviously. We'll be using this to create that effect, to get that kind of effect. Right. The thing that we're gonna do is divide this up into different parts, different layers. For example, all the buildings, and cut every building into its separate layer. So this is the foreground, the whole thing. This is the foreground, and behind that is another building. There's one more here, and behind that is the midground. There's 1, 2, 3, and the 4 buildings here, and also the trees. The other one is the main building over here, the big one, and also a small. It's a faraway one, or let's call it background building, and also the sky. We'll be getting every one of these elements into its own separate layer so that we can animate them in After Effects later. So the first thing that we need to do is open this photo in the Photoshop. So I got my Photoshop open, and this is the pic that I wish. Now see, I'm just dragging this into Photoshop and it's gonna open it up. So now I got the zoom tool, zooming in, and hand tool, moving it up, lasso tool, polygonal lasso. I'll zoom in more, lasso it. Let's select we'll be selecting everything like this. Make sure that you're selecting only this building and not the behind one, so because the effect won't look good if you mix up the buildings. Okay, let's zoom in again, and if there's any discrepancies, let's select this. Right, now that's selected. We see a pole over here with all the wires. Let's select that too. It can be a rough selection, or you can do complete what do you say, exact selection, but then again it won't be noticeable, because everything will be moving so fast, and you won't be noticing it in all that motion blur and stuff. After they come together, you'll be showing the original pic. So there's not much difference if you don't cut the layers out exactly. Doesn't matter. So now this is a background layer. Now double click on this lock and make it into a normal layer, and let's just duplicate this layer, and we'll name this as background, and we'll hide it for now. We have this selected. Right now let us make this into a separate layer via cut. That's done. Now the other one is the next building. Let's do it for the next building the same way. Zoom in, select the lasso tool, you might want to do this one step at a time, or some steps at a time, because in cameras sometimes there will be a distortion, lens distortion, and these lines will not always be straight, so it's better if you do it step by step. And these rods over here belong to that same building, so let's select them too. I hope you're not getting bored, because you know, it's really painstakingly slow. Okay, now I think that's about it for this layer. Again, cut it, layer via cut, hide that. Next, go to next layer. Let's zoom out, and now we'll cut this one out. Let's zoom in, lasso tool. Okay, let's start from here. These are the trees, but I'm just doing a rough selection because it doesn't matter, because there's going to be a lot of motion blur, and you won't be able to make out the things that easily while they're moving. So it is hidden, and you don't need to take that much do such a precise job at it. You can just go about you know, a little less intense work there, a little less detail. Okay, lasso tool, let's cut this out into a new layer. Okay, this is getting boring, so I'll just pause this and resume it after I've cut every layer, and I'll show you how it looks then. Right. Resuming now. Let's see what I've done. I'll just show you what I've done with everything here. I've divided everything into their own separate layers. Like, let me just show you one by one. This is the background sky. It's a clean plate, or whatever you call it. There's the foreground. Then the foreground 2, as indicated here. This is the foreground 1, foreground 2, and also the foreground 3, which is the tank for this building. There's a tank on this building, so that's that. And let's go to the mid ground left side building, then the trees, mid center 1, mid center 2, mid right, the main building, and also the back right building. So we have divided everything into their separate layers. So now let's save this file. We'll just save the file and import it into After Effects.